1, active search scramble in the descending zone.
Hello and welcome aboard once again, our Piper Cherokee cruiser. We're on the ground at my home airport at Tacoma Narrows, and today we're going to do a very short video and cover forward slips to a landing. Well, actually, there's two types of slips. There's a side slip and a forward slip. A side slip would be used in a crosswind landing, and a forward slip is used to increase drag on the airplane to lose altitude quickly. I thought about this the other day when I was doing engine off landings, and I thought, you know, if I was lined up with a runway in an engine off situation and I was way too high, there's no opportunity to do a go around. You only get one shot at it. So I thought, what if I needed to lose a lot of altitude to make that landing safely? And I thought, well, a side slip is the way to go. Of course, you could do full flaps, and 40-degree flaps might do it for you, but there's situations where you might just be too high, even for the flaps, to get you down to the runway in time. I have not done forward slips to a landing in this airplane, so you're going to be experiencing it along with me just to see how the airplane behaves. So I'm going to fly the pattern and deliberately bring it in high on final and see what a side slip does for us. Before starting engine, seats adjusted, seatbelt secure, brakes are set, radio switches are off, verifying, and all switches are off. Circuit breakers are in. We're going to go ahead and prime it with 3 pumps. Throttle set at 1/4, mixture full rich. Master switch on. Fuel pump on. Looking for positive fuel flow, that is shown. Fuel pump off, rotating beacon on. Ignition switch on. Clear prop. And press and hold the starter button. And we'll bring the idle down to 900 RPMs. And checking the oil pressure, it's starting to come into the green. Radios and lights on. We'll put our strobe on. Transponder on. Squawking VFR. And mixture slight lean for taxi. Go ahead and tune to ATIS. See what the weather's doing here.
Tacoma Narrows information uniform. 1600 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility 10. Sky clear, temperature 13, dew point 10. Altimeter 3001. Arriving runway 17, departing runway 17. Advise on initial contact you have uniform.
Okay, uniform is current. Runway 17 is in use. We'll taxi up just short of the non-movement area and get our taxi clearance. So there we are at Bravo 2. And from where we are right now, the tower would give us Bravo 1 Alpha to 17. And once again, we'll be simulating air traffic control communications. Tacoma Tower, Cherokee 7428 Romeo at North Hangars with uniform. Taxi for pattern work. Cherokee 7428 Romeo, Tacoma Tower. Taxi runway 17 via Bravo 1 Alpha. Taxi runway 17 via Bravo 1 Alpha, Cherokee 7428 Romeo. So the whole idea in a side slip is to give it aileron in one direction and rudder in the opposite direction, kind of what we did when we tried to force the plane into spin. But in this case, we're going to have sufficient airspeed where we're not going to stall. That's the goal. You certainly don't want to bring the airspeed down too low when you're in a side slip, because you increase the risk of entering a stall, potentially a spin. So you're essentially turning the airplane sideways into the wind and increasing drag, and as a result, losing lift quickly. So we're going to bring it up here to the side, and we'll do a run up and then taxi up to the whole shoreline. Okay. Brakes are set, seats and seat belts are in place. Elevator trim is set to neutral, checking rudder trim. That's also set to neutral. Flight controls, checking ailerons, elevator, and rudder. Flight controls are free and correct. DG, artificial horizon and altimeter. Directional gyro is now set to magnetic. The artificial horizon is good and the altimeter is set. Fuel quantity check. A little low on fuel, but we're just doing 2 times around the pattern, so we should be good there. Mixture is set to full rich and throttle 1800 RPMs. And there's 1800. Checking magnetos. I'm going to start with the right. Looking for a drop in RPMs. It's about 100 right there. Back to both, then left. Also 100. Carb heat and looking for a slight drop there. That is seen. Engine instruments, oil pressure, fuel pressure, and oil temperature in the green. Suction gauge in the green. I'm going to put a load on the alternator, the landing light. Looking for an increase in charge, and that is shown. Go ahead and leave the landing light on. Throttle back to idle. And we'll return it to 900 RPMs. That's set. Fuel pump on. Landing light's already on. Radios are on and set. I'm going to switch over to tower frequency. Lights are set. Transponder set to altitude. Wing flaps set for takeoff, neutral and confirmed. And cabin door is latched. Taxi up to the hold short line. So in the pattern, I'm just going to leave the fuel pump and the landing lights on. This doesn't make sense to turn them off and then back on again each time we go around. We'll plan on twice around, maybe 3, depending on how things go.
Approaching runway 17.
There we are on ForeFlight. And switch over to tower. Tacoma Tower, Cherokee 7428 Romeo, holding short runway 17. Ready to go. Cherokee 7428 Romeo, Tacoma Tower. Winds variable and light, runway 17. Clear for takeoff, report midfield left downwind. Clear for takeoff, runway 17, report midfield left downwind, Cherokee 7428 Romeo. Okay. So when we come in for landing, I'm going to go ahead and pull the power all the way back to simulate an engine out scenario. And we're going to be high deliberately, and we'll see if we can get it down to the runway in time to avoid having to do a go-around. Because again, if we had an engine out, we wouldn't be able to do a go-around. You only get one crack at it. Okay, lined up and ready to go, full throttle. Engine instruments are in the green, airspeed indicator is alive, and power is available. We're going to gently pull back on the yoke at 55, there it is, and off the ground at 75, and there that is. Climb out at 85. Pattern altitude here is 1,300 feet. And we're going to turn left crosswind at 1,000 feet. There's 1,000. Continuing our climb to 1,300. And we're going to roll out and level off right there. Bring the power back to about 2,000 RPMs. Go ahead and trim for that. And left turn to downwind. We'll roll that on 350. So on my base leg, I'm going to try to maintain 1,000 feet, and we'll see what that does for us. We'll try to lose that altitude with a forward slip. And carb heat is on. Fuel pump on, landing light on. Pre-landing checklist complete. And there's the threshold, power back to 1,500. First notch flaps. Pitching for 100. And we're going to roll into our base leg. So I'm going to add some power, try to hold this altitude right here. Roll out right there, and I'll try to hold what we have. I'll add our second notch flaps. So we're high. We'll see if we can forward slip it down to the runway. So I'm going to go left aileron and right rudder. Aileron, I'm going to maintain directional control. Pull power back. And now making a normal landing. Nose off, keep the nose off. And carb heat in. Flaps retract, full throttle. Do one more of those. Climb out at 85, looking for 1,000, and we'll turn left crosswind. Trim for that. And coming up on 1,000. Here it is, left crosswind turn. And we'll roll out right there and level out at 1,300. Power back to 2,000. And trim for that. Fuel pump on, landing light on, carb heat on. And left downwind. Roll that on a heading of 350. Tacoma Tower, Cherokee 7428 Romeo, midfield left downwind, runway 17. Cherokee 7428 Romeo, Tacoma Tower, wind light variable, runway 17, cleared for the option. Clear for the option, Cherokee 7428 Romeo. We'll try one more of those. Okay, power back to 1500. First notch flaps, pitch for 100. If this goes well, we'll go ahead and bring it in for a full stop. I'm gonna add some power so I can maintain altitude. When we level out, we'll put the second notch of flaps in. We'll roll out right there. Second notch. Way high. Just like we want to be. Okay, I'm bringing the power back to 1500. We'll make our turn to final. And if this goes well, we'll bring it to a full stop.
Port final runway
Power's all the way
17
back.
at Kilo Tango India Whiskey. Warning, airport not in current route.
Okay, we're gonna take the rudder out, bring it in for a normal landing. Get that nose off. Okay, flaps retracted, carpet off. And we'll taxi out right here. So when we go in and do a debrief, we'll take a look at from the outside of the airplane. And see what it looks like in the forward slip. Tacoma Tower, Cherokee 7428 Romeo, clear the runway. Cherokee 7428 Romeo, Tacoma Tower, taxi runway Alpha Bravo 2. Alpha Bravo 2 to parking, Cherokee 7428 Romeo. Well, I can say that the forward slip certainly brought us down pretty quickly. We were about, I want to say 700 feet above touchdown elevation when we were on final. So we had 700 feet to lose in a short period of time. And the forward slip did it for us. The most flaps I had at any given time was 25 degrees or 2 notches. Don't think I would try that with full flaps. Need to look at the pilot operating handbook to confirm, but it seems to me that at full flaps it would not be a good idea to forward slip, but I'll confirm that with the POH. Okay, go ahead and turn the fuel pump off, landing light off. Slight lean, taxi. Okay, all electric off. Radios, transponder, master avionics coming across, rotating beacon, strobe, master switch, idle cutoff, and ignition off. Okay, so that was 2 forward slips to a landing, and we probably had about 700 feet of altitude to lose on final. And the forward slip definitely did it for us. Again, we didn't go any more than 25 degrees, which is 2 notches of flaps. So let's go ahead and take a look at our replay and see what the airplane looks like from outside in a forward slip. So here's the replay, and here we're flying normal pattern. We're at about 90 knots on the downwind leg, 1,300 feet. Threshold, power back to 1500, first on flat is 10 degrees, pitching down for 100. Looking for about a 200-foot decrease in altitude, and begin to left turn. And the difference there is I just added power right up to about 2,000 RPM, so hold altitude. And we'll level off, second notch flaps. So right here we're about 800 feet, so we're 500 feet above touchdown zone. And there's power out. And now I have to lose a lot of altitude, and I'm going to do it with the forward slip. So there's the rudder, maintaining runway alignment with the aileron. See how quickly it's losing altitude. And rudder is out for a normal landing. One thing I noticed in the real airplane, and certainly in the simulator, is this airplane has a lot of float. Just got to keep that nose off. So we'll bring it back inside the airplane. So as I said earlier, the reason that I wanted to do this is because if I had an engine out scenario like I did the other day in a video and was coming in too high, there's no opportunity to do a go around because you don't have power. So I thought, man, if I was coming in high, what would I do in order to bring this airplane down to the runway where I could make a normal landing? And the answer was a forward slip. It's something I haven't done probably in close to 20 years in a real airplane or a simulator for that matter. So as you can see, we had about 500 feet of altitude to lose on short final, and the forward slip did it for us, and we were able to bring it in for a normal landing. So that's the forward slip. Again, just to review, you're giving it rudder in one direction, aileron in an opposite direction, and the aileron is to maintain runway alignment, and the rudder is to cause the airplane to go sideways into the wind, creating additional drag, which of course causes you to lose lift. The thing to keep in mind when you do a forward slip is that your pitot tube is not facing directly into your direction of travel, so it could affect your airspeed readings. They might read lower than what they normally than what they would be if you were flying straight. So that's something to keep in mind. But all in all, it did what it was supposed to do, and hopefully you were able to glean something useful from this video, and looking forward to seeing you next time.